topic that I know is really important, particularly when you are in that stage of scaling your business with being more visible. And it's all around people pleasing and understanding how to listen to your intuition and actually make decisions from that place rather than basically doing the complete opposite, like stepping out of who you are and what you're meant to be doing and basically going out of integrity. So I'm going to talk about something that happened to me in the last week. But before I dive into this whole topic, I just want to remind you that yes, we are in the beginning of a new year. We There is so much noise out there right now in terms of what you should be doing, in where you should be showing up, how you should be showing up, what the right next move is, all the hype. There's loads of things launching. Everybody's banging on about their strategy is the best and then their AI thing is the best. And you've got so much noise in the online space. It can feel so overwhelming. And yeah, the biggest, most powerful decisions that you can make in your life and business, they don't come from all of the hype. They don't come from the FOMO. They don't come from you following somebody else's pattern. They actually come from you listening to yourself and knowing what is the right fit for you. But that is something that I've definitely had to learn myself. And for years, in fact, most of my life, I followed all of the hype. I followed all the noise. I followed all of the trends. I did all the things. I followed all the paths and everything. And I always felt drained. I always felt like I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. I always felt like I was behind and playing chase all the time. It was literally like the goal was there, but then the goal kept moving. So I was just constantly chasing this never ending goalpost of what I wanted to be achieving. And it's really overwhelming. I know people listening to this will relate to this because it's a lot, isn't it? When you are running a business, you've got all this noise of like, this is what you should be focusing on right now. And if you're not doing this, then your business is going to be behind. And then if you're focusing on this, then this isn't going to happen. And it's just so draining. And I want to remind you, and I know I said this in the last episode, but we are still very much in winter. Like this, we are in the middle of winter right now. We are designed to be in a slower pace. Look at Mother Nature around you. Everything is shut down. Everything is brown. Everything is kind of dead. Like there's no color in life because it is literally that time for restoring your energy and really helping you to just relax before we go into spring. So we're not actually designed to be in on mode and go, go, go until the spring anyway. So it's really interesting when you start doing this work and you start understanding the importance of following your own flow state and allowing that softness and calm into your life without feeling like you need to be in go, go, go mode all the time. Now, as somebody that is a generator, as somebody that is in on mode all the time, like I seem to have like an endless supply of energy, I still need to allow slowness. And I've absolutely loved these first 2 weeks back to work for me. It has been so calm, so peaceful. I feel like it's almost been just an extension of Christmas. I've had beautiful clients that I'm working with. I've had a couple of clients that have delayed things because they're not quite ready. And actually, like previously, I guess the previous version of myself would have found those moments frustrating because, oh God, I just want to get this done. Or, oh, that's really annoying because I'd booked that in. Whereas now, anything that gets cancelled in my diary, I'm just seeing it as now space that I can do something else. So I have had so much space in the last 2 weeks to enjoy doing some puzzles in my puzzle book, to go for longer walks with the dogs, to just visualize things, to set goals, to watch TV even. And that's something that I've never really done when I first became a mum. One of the things I did, this was prior to having a business, this was 2015, I would be watching daytime TV. Like that was my life. I'd be watching TV, caring for my little one, and that was it, like every single day. And I actually really enjoyed watching TV, but it's not something that I've done since having a business. I don't watch daytime TV. I haven't had time because I've been so focused on my business, in what I want to achieve, and doing all of these other things. And this week, I actually sat down, I had my lunch, and I watched TV. And I remember thinking to myself, I never do this. I never allow myself time to sit and watch TV because I remember hearing from some leaders that I really admired that if you're sitting watching TV, you're wasting time, you could be making an impact. And instead of that, you're just watching stuff on TV. And I thought, it kind of stopped me from wanting to even watch TV and having that as a goal. But actually, having that space to be able to just sit and watch daytime TV was so lovely. And I just think I am feeling so energized from these last 2 weeks of just having space, of having so much freedom. And I've also found it really, really interesting to see the online space in that everyone's kind of had that time off over Christmas. And now everyone's in that go, go, go stage. I'm seeing people left, right, and center sharing on social media that they're feeling unwell, they're feeling exhausted, they're doing this launch, that launch, they've got all this stuff happening. And I'm just, as somebody that is now allowing myself time to observe, I'm just seeing all these patterns. And it's so fascinating that actually my business has been growing way faster since I've been slowing down. And as a generator, that is a really alien concept, because initially when I started to slow down, I honestly thought if I took my pedal off the gas, that my business was going to stop, that I wouldn't get the inquiries, that my income's going to drop, all of these different things. And actually it's been the complete opposite of that, because the amazing thing and manifestation, I've been kind of following this path of manifestation for coming up 2 years now. So still very new and still very much finding my own way of what works for me. But one thing I do know for sure is that when you feel good, when you are following what lights you up the most, when you are not in like high vibe energy all the time, but when you're just feeling so much peace and joy in your life, you literally become a magnet for the things you're calling in. So if you imagine yourself in a room, let's just say you're in the middle of a room, if you are feeling really negative, really drained, like you're just not in a good place, you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, frustrated, if you've got other people in that room, they're going to feel your energy. They're literally going to feel your energy. Now, you might get some people that come over and give you a hug because they will sense that you just need that hug. You're also going to get other people that will avoid you, because we don't all want to be surrounded by that kind of energy, because actually that is a repellent in itself. Whereas if you stood in the middle of that room and you felt amazing, you felt really lit up, you felt energized, you felt confident, you felt like just so full of love and gratitude, you are going to find that your energy field that you're putting out there is literally going to magnetize people to you. So you'll find people will come over and have conversations with you. They'll feel your energy and want to know more about you. It's literally about the art of magnetism. And I'm not saying that you need to be in high vibe energy all the time and really positive all the time, because that's not life. We're all human. We're all having a different human experience and we all have stuff to deal with. But if you know the tools that you can allow yourself to know when something is the right decision for you and when something isn't, it's going to help you to speed up your manifestations so much more. And going back to what I was talking about, is it's really about understanding how to listen to your intuition. So in this episode, I want to talk about how you can tell the difference between something that feels scary because it's kind of stretching you and your identity and helping you to align yourself with the big goals you're calling in, and something that feels off because actually it's just not aligned for you. It's not something that you need to be doing, and actually it could cause more damage or more harm than good. And this isn't just about business decisions. This is about life. It's about boundaries. It's about people pleasing, which I hold my hands up. I have always been a people pleaser. Even now I am a people pleaser, not so much, because I definitely listen more into like what my body is telling me rather than what my head is saying I should or shouldn't be doing from past experiences. And it's also helping you to become the woman who trusts who you are and trust yourself enough to choose what is the right decision for you. So the difference between fear and misalignment is fear normally comes into play when there is also excitement, when there is also you expanding your identity, when you're stepping into that next level, when you're maybe setting bigger goals, when you're doing something that's unknown, maybe you haven't done before. And it's also aligned with a feeling of that thing really matters to you. So you might set a really big goal. You might have something huge on your vision board that you really want to achieve. There's probably going to be an element of fear there of, God, I want that so much because that is going to change my life so much that I actually fear not being able to make that happen. So there's normally a sort of complementary fear and excitement and that kind of buzz all wrapped in one. Misalignment is where things feel draining. They feel like your entire body is resisting doing that thing. So if you, let's just take an example with misalignment, is if you were working with somebody and they told you to go away and do XYZ, and even though you know how to do all of those things, you're not doing them. You're literally not taking any action. More often than not, that's not actually a fear of you doing that thing. Quite often, it is a misalignment, because when you look at the fear of things, of stepping into that next level of doing the bigger thing. So maybe it's something like you've been told to, if you go live on social media, you're going to achieve XYZ. And it might be a fear in you doing that because you've never done it before. You don't know how to do it. You're not a tech person. You're worried that it's not going to work. You're going to have your camera on the wrong way. There's all those fears. But the end goal is you're going to be creating a bigger impact. So that end goal will normally outweigh those fears and allow you to just do it, to rip off that band-aid and just do the thing. Whereas misalignment, your entire body is like resisting doing that thing. It's resisting taking that next step. And it kind of feels like you're being pulled completely in the other direction of where you're going. So one of these, the fear, which the aligned fear, is going to help you to stretch your identity and move you forward. Whereas the other one, the misalignment, is what is going to pull you out of integrity. Now, when you are out of integrity, that is where you are sending out so many mixed messages. That is where people can start to feel it in your energy, when they can start to feel it in your content, in your messaging, how you're showing up, and even your offers. So if you think of any situation you've been given and you're wondering if there's just fear there, but it's aligned to you, or if it's completely misaligned, if you ask yourself this question, it is going to help you to make the right decision and know whether it is aligned to you or not. So I want you to ask yourself, when you're in that situation, if this worked out and I did this thing, how is it going to make me feel long term? Okay, so if this worked out, how is it going to make me feel long term? Now, when you think about that question, if the end result is you're going to feel more peace, more excitement, more joy, it's going to open up more opportunities for you, it's going to have all these incredible things, then more often than not, that is a case of, it's not misalignment, it's just a fear because you've maybe not done it before. And it's just a case of you taking even a small step in that direction because you know it is aligned to you, because the end goal is there and that is what's pulling you towards it. Whereas if this worked out, but if you did that thing, but it's going to make you feel really uncomfortable, if it's going to make you feel really sort of just not you long term, I'm not talking about an initial bit of uncomfortableness, because when you have done a live for the very first time, you're probably going to do that live, come off of it and say, I never want to do that again, that was horrible, because you've never done it before. It's about that repetition and feeling into what it is that you're doing, and allow yourself that time and space to practice things to get better at it. But if you think about the long-term situation, then you can think about how that's going to help. So I want to give you an example of where this came up for me last weekend. So I was going to an event, and it was an event that I was so excited to go to. As soon as I found out about it, I booked a ticket. I knew I needed to be in that room. And then something weird happened about 2 weeks before the event. I received an email and it was talking all about the event. And there was just something, I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but it instantly made me feel, I'm not sure if this event is the right fit for me. And initially I thought maybe it's just because I've perhaps not been in this space before. Maybe it's just a bit of nerves. Maybe it's the kind of event I need to go to and it's going to bring on so many opportunities. So I just went with it and thought, okay, let's just see how this feels. It's triggering me a little bit at the moment, but that could be an aligned thing that's just a little bit of fear there. And then as it got closer and closer to this event, and bearing in mind it's on a Sunday, and I do not tend to book any kind of events on a weekend because that is my family time. Like, my kids are at school Monday to Friday. I love my family time. Like, my family are my number one, and I don't like to do anything on the weekends that means it's like a business thing. So although I have done things at the weekend in the past, it's been because it's a full body, hell yes, I know I need to be in that space. So I went to an event, I think it was a couple of years ago now, and it was Alex Tripod, her manifestation event that she did in London. She lives in Australia, and I knew I had to be at that event, and that was on a weekend. So I knew that was a full body, hell yes, needed to be there. So glad I went. It was incredible. Got a client on the day, like it was all amazing. But there was something with this event that was coming up that was triggering me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And the closer and closer it got, the more I was thinking, do you know what? I don't think this is aligned to me. I think if I go in this space, that is me being out of integrity, because what I was being asked to wear, what I was being asked to do, like the whole feel of this particular event was just making me feel like it wasn't quite the right fit for me. And then the day before the event, my 7-year-old daughter said to me, Mummy, please, can you stay at home and play with me tomorrow? Like, you have to go to this event. Now, anyone that knows me knows it takes a lot for me to want to go to an event in London. I'm a country girl. I hate getting on public transport, unless I really have to. So to go into London on a rainy Sunday when it's the middle of winter, it's cold, I was leaving my family, the trains are always slow on a Sunday. Like there were so many negatives to it, but I knew initially that I wanted to be in that space. And then when my daughter said that to me, I was like, do you know what? I think this is a sign. This is literally a mirror of how I'm feeling internally anyway. And it's a sign for me to choose my family and not take that day off. Yes, it could have been a good opportunity. And then on the morning of the event, my daughter said it again. She's like, do you have to go? Like, can you just stay at home with me? And it was raining outside. And I just thought, I'm not going to go. I don't think this is the right fit for me. And I'm so pleased I didn't go. So that is an example of my own personal experience of where I was even weighing up myself, whether something was a good opportunity for me and it was fear holding me back, and it being completely misaligned. And actually, I do think that that was a completely misaligned event for me personally. The event looked incredible. The reviews have been amazing. I know people that went that said it was incredible. But just for me, it wasn't an aligned fit. So that is where it's so important to understand how to listen to your body, to see where you're feeling it. So if you still really struggle with this, one thing that I really highly recommend you do is journal on it. I would also recommend you close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and you ask yourself that question that I already said. So if this worked out, how is it going to make me feel long term? Or what is my body telling me about this, doing this thing that is making me hesitate? Like, what is it? Because that is where you can feel in your body. Now, normally, when it's just fear, it's your head that is doing the talking. And it might be through past experiences. This is where those limiting beliefs creep in. And that is quite often a case of it is an alignment. You're just worried about it because of past things that have happened to you. And that is your brain trying to keep you safe because it doesn't want you to feel uncomfortable again. Misalignment is you will feel in your gut that something is making you feel really uncomfortable, that it's just your body almost feels like it is being pulled back. Like I've had loads of experiences through various forms of healing where I've literally felt these kind of energetic pulls in my body. So I don't know if that maybe means that I'm perhaps more in tune with myself than others. I don't know. Like I'm still, as I say, fairly new into this. I'm only 2-3 years into like healing and understanding more about energetics. But for me, I always listen to my body rather than my head. So if you can do that and just sit in quiet for a couple of minutes, that is going to help you to make any decisions in your business and your life. Now, there is a reason why people pleasers can really struggle to hear their intuition. It's more often than not is people pleasing is a trauma response. It's not a personality trait. So, you know, when people introduce themselves and they might talk about and say, oh God, yeah, I'm a people pleaser. It's a trauma response. It's keeping them safe. And it's saying yes to things that you don't want to say yes to because that's what you've done before, because you think that that is going to make you be seen and heard as a good person. That's like you ticking a box is making you feel loved, liked, accepted, whatever that is. But it actually, when you say yes to things that you mean no, that internally you're like, God, I really don't want to do this thing, but I've just said yes now. Now this is really awkward. It's actually completely disconnecting you from your body and the energetic field. So if you can focus on allowing yourself time. So often as a people pleaser, you might respond quicker than what you meant to. So someone might put you on the spot and ask you to do something. Could you do that thing? And with people pleasers, the majority of the time, what we'll tend to say is yes, before we've really allowed ourselves time to think. So you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to pause, think about it, to say, can I just come back to you? Can I just check something? And then I'll let you know. And allow yourself that opportunity to respond quickly, but not with a yes, with an opportunity for you to think about it. And then you can then come up to like an agreement or a decision on how you want to say no to that thing, or come to another agreement or another arrangement on how it could work for you. So when you're saying yes over time, this is going to create resentment, it's going to create burnout, and it's definitely going to create confusion in your body. So what I want you to do is to allow yourself that time and space to be able to say no, and you can still be totally polite. Saying no is not a bad thing. Saying no to things doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't mean people aren't going to like you. But the more you people please through that trauma response, the more people are going to expect you to say yes to things, and the more triggered you're going to feel and the more drained your body is going to feel. So if you can start protecting your energy field and your own body and allow yourself that space to come up with a response that feels good in your body, you're going to start allowing yourself to feel more into your intuition, because your intuition isn't like a big shout. It's like, it's not like in your head might be shouting at you, yes, no, whatever that initial response is. But your intuition is quite like a subtle thing. It can be a feeling you get in your body, like whatever part of that body, your body it is, but it can be really, really subtle. It's like a whisper. And when you're people pleasing all the time, it's basically going to be drowning out that intuition. So you're not going to be able to hear or feel it. Now, the body never lies. Your nervous system is going to be giving you signals before your brain even catches up. So when you have things like a tight chest, when you feel any heaviness, when you're feeling exhausted, that's all information that you can use to allow yourself to make the right aligned decisions for you. So when you have that clarity after making a decision, that is a really clear and powerful sign of having alignment. So when you make a decision, so when I had already made that decision on the morning of the event, and I'd said, I'm not going, and I'd messaged to say, I'm really sorry, I won't be there today, I'm going to stay with my family. I instantly knew, I had instant calm. There was no, oh God, have I made the right decision? Like there was none of that at all. It was instant. Thank you for listening. Thank you. It was just calm, peace, joy, softness, like all of that. That is what you're allowing space for when you actually start to listen to your intuition and you listen to it and take action on it. Okay, so that is allowing you to be in integrity. So me not attending that event wasn't me being bad. I wasn't letting anybody down. I wasn't letting myself down. I wasn't missing out on an opportunity. What I was doing was just fully listening to my body and what my body was telling me to do. And I'm so pleased that I absolutely like fully listened to it, because yeah, that calm I felt afterwards was complete clarification for me that I'd made the right decision. So becoming becoming the next level version of you doesn't mean betraying who you've always been. It's not about being a different version of yourself. It's about stripping back those layers of people pleasing. It's about stripping back the layers of all the things you've been carrying because you felt like you should be a certain way. And it's about understanding who you really are. And it does require you to be brave, because it's going to be uncomfortable when you start to show up as that version of yourself, when you're being more unapologetically you, because what will happen is the people around you have never experienced that version of yourself before. So when you start putting yourself first, when you start owning your space, when you start showing up with more confidence, the people around you that are used to the people pleaser, the person that's shy, the person that doesn't speak their mind, the person that kind of hides, that doesn't put themselves on camera, that doesn't do lives, that's what they are used to. And people like familiarity. So when they can start to see that you're being more confident, that you're being more visible, when you're doing these things that you maybe wouldn't have previously done, to other people around you, they might say, but you're changing, that's not you. When actually what it really is that's more you than you've ever been before, because you're actually not allowing all that noise and all of the crap that you've been holding on to of like feeling you need to be a certain way, and you're just allowing yourself to just be more you. And it's small steps. It can be tiny, tiny decisions that you make. It could be making one decision in your day, like wearing lipstick. Maybe you're not somebody that wears lipstick ever, but you know when you put lipstick on that you feel so much more confident. So your one change that you might make in a day could be every day you're going to wear lipstick. It makes you feel good. It gives you more confidence. It makes your outfit completely transform. That small change in your day is you allowing yourself to be more you. So if something makes you feel good, but you just haven't been allowing yourself to do it, do more of it. Like literally allow yourself that opportunity and space, and just fully back yourself and take those decisions that allow you to show up more as who you are, because your growth is never about you going away from your values or your own well-being. It's only about you listening to that more, aligning fully with your values, aligning fully to you, taking center stage, because you are here to have a life experience, the fullest life experience, most fun, the most joy, the most peace, everything that you can possibly have. So if you're feeling day by day that you're drained, that you haven't allowed yourself to have any me time today, that you said yes to somebody when you really meant no, and you're doing all of these things, you're not allowing yourself to live that full life. And the tiniest change that you can make, even with the whole lipstick thing, or wearing a pair of heels, maybe you're someone that lives in trainers, but actually you love to wear heels, you just never give yourself time to do it because maybe it's not practical or whatever reason. Like just one change you can make in your day is going to make a huge difference. It could be buying a new skincare product that you wouldn't normally buy, but actually if you use that one product, it's going to make you feel really good when you're doing your skincare routine in the evening. Like one change that you can make in your day will have a huge ripple effect on everything else that you're doing. Okay, and it's really knowing when you can start leaning into and being that leader that you already are, and allowing yourself that opportunity to just become more you. It's about leaning in and being that leader that you already know that you can be, and also knowing when to allow yourself that time and space to step back and to think and process before you instantly respond to things. So trying to come away more from that people pleasing, and it's never going to be an instant thing, but it's just allowing yourself that space to step back, assess the situation, and then make an informed, aligned decision moving forward. So are you avoiding doing this thing because you're scared, or are you avoiding doing that thing because it just doesn't feel like the right thing for you to be doing? And just own that. The more you do it, the more you're going to start to understand how your own intuition is actually speaking to you. And it's about the identity shift that you go through on this journey requires you to have so much self-trust and belief in yourself, because you cannot step into your next level identity if you don't trust your own decisions. Confidence in you becoming your most aligned, your favorite version of who you are, comes from you following through on what you already know is right, because most of the time you already know it. It's just what comes out of your mouth might be something different. So allow yourself that space before you respond to things. And remember that every single aligned no that you make is going to allow you to strengthen your personal brand and the energetic presence that you have in the field around you. Okay, so visibility, you showing up online, you taking center stage in your business and even in your life without having that self-trust and that belief in yourself, that is just performance. That is not going to be felt. Whereas when you start to take these small actions and you start being visible in a way that feels good, that is in alignment to you, that is when it is felt. That is when it lands. That is when you are going to become more of a magnet for the things you're calling in, and allow the space for that to come to you. Because when you are in that performance mode, you can be as visible as anything. You can have the most amazing content. You can have the most amazing messaging. But if you're showing up from a performance rather than being in integrity, that is going to be felt. People are going to feel that your content is off, that it's not calling them forward. Whereas when you are showing up, you can have the most polished brand, whatever. There is a difference in how people feel it when you are performing versus how you are when you're being fully aligned and you're leading with integrity. Okay, so being visible And the reason I want to talk about visibility is because it's the beginning of a year. Everybody is banging on about all the things you need to be doing. You need to be more visible. You need to do this, that, and the other. Because if you don't do it now, you're going to be like way behind everybody else. But the thing with visibility is it doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It doesn't mean showing up everywhere all of the time. It doesn't mean giving your soul up to Instagram. It's not about you doing things because you feel like you should, or because it's the best time for the algorithm, or whatever it is. What it means is you being really intentional about where you put your energy and with the decisions that you make. And when you can start doing that, people are going to feel your alignment before they even hear or read what it is that you're saying. They'll literally feel that energetic pull. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I would love for this podcast to be even more conversational. So I am inviting you to ask me any questions that you have related to identity shifting, related to visibility, branding, anything that you have, any burning questions you have around that, the identity shift, all of these things, and standing out in a way that feels really aligned and true to you. I'd love to hear from you. So I'm inviting you to send me an email with your questions. It can be an anonymous thing. I don't need to mention your name. No hype or anything. Like, this is just going to be an honest conversation. I am going to be responding to your questions on the podcast. I'm going to be doing this as like a Ask Jackie something or other. I haven't really named it, but I just wanted to have an opportunity to answer your questions on a podcast, because what questions you have related to scaling your brand and being more visible, other people are going to have those questions as well. So if I can help more people by responding to your questions, that is just going to help more people and allow me to create a bigger impact, which is what I'm all about. So what I need you to do is to send me your question via email to hello@jackielaws.com. I will pop the link in the show notes below so that you've got the right spelling, and then just pop podcast question in the subject, and then just drop your question in the description, and I will answer it on one of my upcoming episodes. I would love to make this more of a thing. So yeah, if you do have any burning questions, please make sure you pop those over on email. If you've enjoyed this episode today, please do take a couple of seconds to leave me a review on whichever podcast channel you are listening to. It really does help me to create more content. It helps me to know what it is that you're loving about the show. And it's just, yeah, it gives me like a virtual warm hug, basically, if I can get some nice reviews on the podcast. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Mwah.